Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy Friday to you and your family. We're taking a look at Bitcoin, helping you understand the best practice and big picture here, of course. And what we're going to take a peek at is traditional markets actually doing well. Dollar index down, but Bitcoin's drawing dead. It's an interesting place, but it also makes sense considering the fact that Bitcoin dominance is down and some alts are starting to get stimulated, for lack of better terms. So that being said, we'll look at that and much more. Obviously, just make sure that we understand the general sense of what's going on here. If you are new to the channel, though, just know I'm not a financial advisor. Love to teach people to trade. If you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a site. Link down below. Obviously, make sure that you reference my signals, of course, if you're currently a community member. We do have some healthy profits here recently from Ethereum, 42%, BNB at 50. Gosh, there's a lot of little profits here. 82% from 15 days from another Ethereum trade that we had open. And my favorite there, Solana, 195% in 3 days. So again, patience is key, right? That's the whole thing I like to teach and help people understand. We've got some awesome traders. People are starting to really kick some butt. So good job, everyone, for just keeping up the great work. I'm super proud of all of my members and just the fact that everyone kind of bands together and works together. And we all have a common goal of surviving and thriving in this market. Also, as you can see here, we're using Bitget exchange too. I have a $10,000 prize pool monthly. We're going to have one here in a couple of weeks. And that really just allows for you to benefit by just trading volume and profit and loss ratio. Okay, so it's awesome. All you got to do is use the link down below to be qualified for that automatically. And if you are in the States, you will need a VPN. I get you an extra 3 months free with the 12-month plan for ExpressVPN. It's already pretty inexpensive. So definitely check that out. I've been using them for a long time. It's really awesome to be partnered with them. So here's the thing with Bitcoin. Price is coming down, obviously, but we can see that we're breaking through that descending trend. Okay, so got a little bit of a breakout, so to speak. And again, it doesn't mean it's just going to shoot to the moon because of this. It just implies that the lower low and lower high pattern, or more effectively, the lower high pattern is discontinuing. What that implies for us moving forward is that the price will probably go sideways and or up from here. Okay, in other words, we're probably going to be range bound for some time in this zone between 15.5 and 18.5. Okay. Now again, it could fluctuate, it could come up, could come down. We'll look at some other time frames and some other indicators to see. But generally speaking, a descending trend being broken is a positive step in the right direction. But it really just implies we're no longer moving down, we're going to be moving sideways and then potential of moving up from there. Okay, it doesn't imply it's going to just move up because of that, all right? Just so you know. Now, if we look at the RSI, we're kind of getting rejected at 50 here, so we can kind of see that this 16,900 range is a strong resistance for Bitcoin. To me, I wouldn't want to open any longs, honestly, until we see 17,200. And what I mean is opening longs with Bitcoin. Because once again, Bitcoin dominance is starting to come down. Therefore, a lot of alts are starting to come back up, right? And this one's actually doing exactly what I expected it to do. Unfortunately, I slept through my entry this morning at $18. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. You got to get your rest, right? So if I say, though, there's some altcoins actually taking a decent amount of the dominance away from Bitcoin. And it really just implies that we're not in terrible shape by any stretch. But you do want to be cautious and careful with what you invest in. But that being said, this is an investment, not a gamble, right? So make sure that you are smart about what you're trading. Keep in mind, too, we are ascending bullishly here, which is positive. That does imply that we are expecting further upside here, and this continuation could be likely. Again, the more often you test a level, the more likely it is to break. You can see how many times we've tested this level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Roughly 11 days in the last, 2 weeks of trading, we've retested that level. So what is the potential of it breaking to the upside? Slightly higher than breaking down. That's essentially what the concept is there, right? So again, no guarantees by any stretch, but that's something that's positive. We've got a few positives here. Let's go ahead and see if there's any others, whereas we are closing above the 50-day SMA 2 days in a row. Or I guess you could say 3 days in a row, because today hasn't closed yet, but generally speaking, we are looking at a situation where the likelihood of the price action continuing higher if we close at 16.8 today is greater. So in other words, this weekend could and very well should be green if we can close above that level. Again, we just have a lot of little factors kind of adding positively. They're not phenomenal, astounding, and just like, these obvious indications being like, we got to go long. But some good indications nonetheless, right? And if we take a look at the simple moving average here on the 4 hour, you can see the 200 working. It's magic, of course, holding the price action in play. But here's the thing about the 50 moving upwards with the 200. It's considered a golden cross, and it usually brings the price action up with it. So there is a stronger likelihood we should see the price continuing higher. Another thing that's positive too, higher lows consistently. Okay, so even though we're dipping down a little bit, I think the probability of the price going up from here seems slightly higher. Okay, again, not dramatic, not amazing, but still higher. We're staying above 50 on the RSI on the 4-hour too. That's a positive sign as well, showing that we have a nice support levels here. We can also see on the MACD that we're kind of drawing dead. And when I say drawing dead, this is positive because, of course, this momentum to the downside isn't coming up or coming down, it's going sideways. Okay, that really just implies there's kind of some indecision there, and that we could very well see the price action go either up or down. But again, these other contributing factors make more sense for it to go up, right? So again, we're kind of building a slight case here of further upside. I think each time frame we looked at so far gives us like a 60% probability of a further upside. Okay, again, it's not dramatic, but it's still good. If we take a look at the 1 hour, we want to see here at TD sequential, there's any extension here, which we did have to the downside here at a 9. Of course, that's right when the market had opened, and obviously traditional markets opening positively. We can see that return coming back, right? So again, a lot of those things are kind of factoring in. So having a good market day traditionally helps Bitcoin recover and continue its higher highs, or correction, its higher low pattern. Again, trend reversals start with higher lows. That's the key there. Higher highs is one thing, but if you have higher lows, you have these nice ascending trends that have a tendency of breaking out to the upside. That's effectively what we're looking for. Okay, so that's looking positive here in TD sequential. We have roughly 6 to 10 more hours of continuation of the upside. And if it were to come up here, just say for example, then we might have a potential break through that level and continuing higher. It might be somewhat of a short squeeze position or situation, but again, if we're overextended going into it, there's a good chance it will die off as well, and we might just see this be like some type of cup and handle. Again, things like this do tend to happen in trading, right? So I think there's potential we're going to see something in the near future from Bitcoin. Some type of breakout to the upside. It just seems more probable that we're going to see up versus down. So that being said, we're looking good there. Let's take one last look at the cloud. And this is something that's kind of funky, for lack of better terms. In other words, when you take a look at this here, you can see that the lagging spans in the price action. So not really a great sign to take a long position. Furthermore, we're also getting rejected tentatively off the cloud. Okay, so we're still below that. So again, a closure above 16,800 today would be advantageous because, of course, it would keep us naturally above the cloud and we'd be in better shape. Obviously, a closure above 16.9 would be ultimately the best, but we can't ask for that just yet. It really depends on how the traditional markets wants to close. So if we close positively in the green today for traditional markets, I feel like Bitcoin has a stronger potential to continue upwards. Just keep in mind, we are tentatively making lower highs, and that can sometimes spell a reversal. Okay, so lower highs and lower lows. For lack of better terms, last 24 hours, we can see that kind of trending downwards, if you will. Okay. So generally speaking, it's kind of got a downward channel. So if I were to take entry on this one, I would make sure to have 2 entry targets, one closer to 16.8, another maybe down here at 16.6, a next Fibonacci retracement level. Because again, if we lose 16.6, then it's going to continue much further down from there. So why not get filled at 2 entries, make an average of 16.7, and then of course the price comes up to retest 16.9. You want to have some type of tight profit target. Okay. So again, it may not seem like much, but if you're trading from 16.7 with an average price and put your target, your first target, right there at about what 16.9, you'll get 1.15%, and with leverage, 20x leverage, that could very well be a good healthy 22%. Okay. So again, just little things to kind of think about. Again, you want to kind of have tighter profit targets in this trading scenario right now. If you're getting super greedy, you're probably going to get wrecked, or you're going to have to be stuck in a position a lot longer than you should have been. So just be careful in that regard. I recommend tight profit targets, multiple entry targets, and just make sure that you are patient, because as you can see with some of my previous signals that I've sent out, some of them take 3 or 4 days to hit. Others might take 10 or 11, right? So 11% there for a BNB trade, but again, gave us a nice 34%. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Again, we're using Bitget as well as that VPN to kind of qualify for it, but for lack of better terms, everything's fully automated through Cornix, so it's really nice to be able to kind of just sleep through some of those things. Right? So you don't have to be stuck to the computer all day. Either way, check that out in your own time. Again, those automated trading signals are fantastic. I hope you learned something here today. That's pretty much all we got. Mostly positive, in my personal opinion. I would feel comfortable taking some long positions in the relative near future, specifically more so with Bitcoin. Some alts, again, are kind of suffering and struggling right now because they're overextended. So be cautious with the overextended alts right now. I hope you learned something once more. Thanks again for joining me. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.